I always wonder whether it was worthwhile days that are filled with despair, self-blame. All I ever wanted was to have clear skin. Hi everyone! I'm picky expert Dr. Crystal Lee and I'm a doctor working in the UK. Thank you all for joining me today. I'll be sharing with you my own skincare journey with the emphasis that progress is not linear. Everyone is different, so please do not compare yourself with anyone else. And also, do remember to be kind while watching this video, as this took a lot of courage for me to share with all of you. I will also be categorizing my journey into 3 different phases. Phase 1 is the teenage acne angst. Growing up in Malaysia, my face is often oily with a few spots here and there, and that's normal, especially for teenagers. However, my skin became much worse with painful big huge pimples. In desperation, I'm also guilty of trying all sorts of DIY skincare, from the lemon slices to the apple cider vinegar and even the mouthwash trick. Additionally, I've also tried all sorts of traditional or conservative medications, including seahorse brew. Can you believe it? I'm not a huge fan of it and I would not recommend that to anyone either. So as a teenager, I grew up feeling really self-conscious about the way I look. I can't help feeling that people were not seeing me for who I am, but were actually just focusing on all my pimples and spots and blemishes on my face. If you grew up in an Asian household like myself, it is not uncommon to be bombarded with all sorts of questions like, what's wrong with your face? Why is there so many pimples? Are you not taking care of yourself? My pimples became the talk of almost every single conversation that I have with my family. As if school wasn't stressful enough, my pimple journey was a whole entire new ball game for me. I visited the dermatologist and was started on oral antibiotics and later on Roaccutane due to the lack of improvement. Roaccutane is the brand name for Isotretinoin, which is the oral form of vitamin A. Let's talk about phase 2. Recurrence is a pain. After completing the course of Roaccutane, my face was clear for a long time. I went to the UK for university, and that's when those pesky pimples decided to pop out all over again. Initially, I put it down to the change of weather, diet, and even stress. I had to go through the whole ordeal again to get my acne treated, but this time it was a much bumpier ride. After months of being in the waiting list, I was finally seen by a dermatologist in the UK. I was then advised to start another course of Roaccutane, except this time round with a much higher dose, almost 4 times more than what I had during my first round of Roaccutane. Things took an unexpected turn. I reacted terribly to it with quite a lot of side effects. I was having nosebleed, I was having bloody stool, I was having constant headaches, and on top of that, I was having the normal common side effects like chapped lips and dry eyes. After completing the second course of Roaccutane, my skin cleared out, but I was left with terrible sensitive skin. Nobody knows what or how it has happened because it wasn't common presentation. It took me nearly a year or so to calm my raging red skin. During my second course of Roaccutane, on some days, I feel motivated that I was doing the right thing for myself and I was heading towards the right direction. There are also days that are filled with despair, self-blame, and just filled with so much tears and sadness. Because in my head, all I ever wanted was to have clear skin. And I couldn't quite understand why. That was so difficult for me to achieve something so basic for some people. It comes so easily for some people. After being on the Roaccutane for the second time, I always wonder whether it was worthwhile going through the phase of flare-ups, the side effects, and checkups just to achieve clear skin. During this period of my life, it was difficult not to compare myself to my fellow friends who are blessed with clear skin and not a spot in their life. This part of the journey has taught me a great deal about self-love and acceptance. When my skin cleared up, I was over the moon. However, I felt a little anxious to the possibility of a relapse. But what are the odds, isn't it? Phase 3, third time lucky. All was well for a good while as my skin was all clear. However, in 2018, I started seeing signs of recurrence with some new nodular cystic acne. I was once again advised by my dermatologist to start on another course of Roaccutane to minimize the risk of any future acne scarring. This time round, I needed a bit more self-convincing. I was a bit hesitant to be on it again after the terrible side effects I had in the previous occasion. Also, I felt like I was back to square one again, so I feel a bit deflated, a bit defeated. However, I was surrounded by my family and friends who were very, very supportive. And my dermatologist took all the necessary precaution, weighing the risks and benefit of starting another course. Phew. Let's hope that the third Roaccutane course is the last one. After completing 3 courses of Roaccutane, I am very content with how my skin is. However, it is far from being perfect, and there is just so much to learn about my skin and skin in general. I am very grateful for the journey, the experiences, and the challenges. So here I am, aspiring to become a better doctor, a more sympathetic listener, and perhaps your favorite cheerleader in your skincare journey. So this is a nutshell of my skincare journey. If you like this and would like to see more videos like this, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them in the comment below and I'll get them as soon as I can. To know more about my skincare journey and also skincare science, please do not forget to follow me on both Instagram and Piki. I post on both platforms regularly. The links are down in the description below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and also the notification buttons to stay up to date with the latest Piki skincare videos. Thank you for watching. See you!